All right. So, hey, what were you saying? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off earlier when we were kind of dealing with some technical stuff. So, yeah, I'm stoked to have you guys on for sure. So, how we doing? How we feeling?
Yeah, I mean, on my side, very excited to talk to you. We have been really putting our focus into creating the demo we've been working on and
Oh,
finding publishers and thinking about all of these things. So we haven't really created a lot of content. So this is a
mhm.
great excuse to warm up, to talk about the game to other people, and to have some information about it out there. So this is great. Uh,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, it's cool, man. I mean, I was looking around on your I don't even know. I mean, socials, but also I didn't realize you also had a Sketchfab. And I found your
Yeah.
Sketchfab and I was like, "Oh, you have all your models up on Sketchfab. Can you download those actually and could I play with your models?" That sounds so wrong, but
So at this moment, they cannot be downloaded. They are they're there just to be seen. I don't really know like what's the best idea. You know, when you discover something that is fun and you want to try it, we use it for our website. But then
yeah.
I don't know if it would be a bad idea to have them. We are at this moment really working out like what's the best mix of things to have out there for the game. And we
Mhm.
don't know. For example, I don't know. Imagine we find a publisher and they say like, hey, but why are your models available for everybody? I
Oh,
saw
that
this
makes
person
sense.
using it. So we are a bit afraid of those kind of things. So we are still figuring it out. And as soon as you know, as soon as we know, we will probably, if we can, release them, whatever. But
I mean,
at
it's the
this
same with
moment,
it.
we,
It's the same with the
Yeah.
demo, right? Like we don't know if it's the right time to release the demo or not because we're talking to publishers at the moment, so
Mm.
sort of hard to like know, you know.
Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
you are spending all this time like creating the bullet, and you don't want to fire it before it's the right time.
exactly.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
and I've
Premature.
heard yeah, and I've heard so many different opinions when it comes to demo before publisher, publisher before demo, wish list, amount of wish list before publisher. I've heard so much like conflicting information that I'm like, I guess we all just don't know what we're doing. We're just kind of figuring it out as we go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
absolutely. So before we started working on Tokyo Neon Monsters, I've been working on another game that is called Synth Hunters, and I've been working on this for years, right? And I have a contract with a production company, and we
Mm.
made a demo, and they advised me not to publish it because
Oh,
it could happen that some publishers don't want to. Uh, but what could happen is people like the way your game is on the demo, and your publisher wants to change something, so that would kind of limit a little bit your possibilities when it comes to signing a deal with a publisher.
that
So
makes sense. Yeah.
at the same time, maybe you publish your demo and 100,000 people plays it and it goes viral. And I'm sure no publisher will mind to have a proven concept that everybody loves to. So I guess there is no right answer.
Yeah.
What's the dynamic between you guys? I'm just kind of curious, like as far as work like what's our dynamic?
He's
So
the brains
Craig is
on
the
the
smart
beauty.
one. No, go on.
No, go for it. Go for it, Pedro.
Okay, so basically, I don't know anything about coding, but I can create characters and animations, 3D graphics. That's what I do
Mhm.
professionally. I am a 3D artist. Um, and Greg's it's also has an artistic strong side, but he is taking
Mhm.
care mostly of the game design and also the programming, right? So which is what
Mhm.
he does professionally.
Petro's also heavily involved in the game design as well. He does a lot of really good work on the design. It's kind of especially I think in the early stages we're kind of fleshing it out like a normal game, and then as you're building it, you start to see the kind of gaps in your design, and you're like, oh Christ, no, we need to change everything.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, we've got a completely different game.
Yeah.
That's happened a few times. And also when people play test your demo as well, you get the same thing. It's like, oh, okay, um,
Yeah.
you can change this. So you're like, oh well, you don't know how hard it is to change that. It's really hard, but we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
everything seems obvious until you show it to somebody and they don't understand anything that you wanted them to understand. It's crazy. Like when you are inside, like you never realize like what things are obvious and what aren't. But in any case, yeah, none of us are perfect. And although we work professionally with these things, it's great to have each other to bounce the ideas. I show the designs and he gives me feedback on that. And he shows me the mechanics of the game and the same thing goes on. We do everything together, but technically we keep it separated, basically.
Yeah.
How'd you guys find each other? Because obviously, like, as far as the journey goes, I know we teased a little bit as far as Pedro, you've been doing visual effects or 3D modeling and things like that in the film. And so like, are we still working in that industry and this is kind of like an aspiration to make a leap, or is this like, you're like, I'm doing this now? Or like, what's the trajectory look like? Sorry. That was tough for me. It's early in the morning for me, guys. Bear with me.
That's perfectly understood. And want to go?
Go for it, Pedro. Go for it.
So basically, on my side, right, since I'm telling it, it's basically I was working on this other game, Synth Hunters, and I'm doing it with this production company. So the process is very effective when we find some investment, and it's very slow when we don't. So we have like sometimes gaps that we are a couple of months just writing something, stuff that doesn't require my time, all of my time, basically, right? So I really wanted to have another project to do in between, and do it a bit more independently, something that is just me and somebody else, and just work on that. So of all places, I went into Facebook, although I don't use Facebook for anything. And there was this indie dev group. I just posted that I was looking for somebody, and Craig replied. And it's funny because when I started like talking with him, he says that it's hard to find artists. And on my side, I would say it's crazy hard to find programmers. I think we are like in two separated universes and we don't know about each other. But when I was looking for people, it was a couple of months actively looking for somebody, because it's not just somebody that knows how to program, right? Like it's also somebody that can match your drive and can commit to something that, although some people think that they can make a game very quickly, it can take a year. So you need somebody that is in for a whole year and is professional and can match your ability to produce your side, right? So that makes it a bit harder than just finding anybody. But yeah, I just posted there. A couple of people replied. Craig was one. We had a meeting and it really worked out, I guess, from the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I was just, I sort of like, I was coming off the back of a project that I done or I'd been working on for a while, just in my spare time. It was just me, just messing around and just like practicing, basically. And I thought, I wasn't actually looking for anybody. And like I saw Pedro's art, and I was like, why is nobody talking to him about this? What's happening? I was like, I'm definitely going to talk to this guy. And we had a meeting, and Pedro's the coolest dude I've ever met. And I was like, I'm in. I'm absolutely in. Like full force, go Power Rangers in, And then we just started designing. Just in like, I'm a lecturer at a university. I do like games design methods and approaches for master's students, and I also do like games programming for undergrads, all sorts. Also, I'm a researcher as well, and I do like games research as well. Like, so I do a bunch of stuff to do with games. Obviously, like having a professional practice as well is really important to that. But like I kind of have to separate them in a way, just because just a job, it's my job. So like evenings and weekends, making games basically, and so I don't get much socializing time, but it's all good. I don't know how my partner puts up with it, to be honest, but so we would start making games and start making this game in that time, and it just evolved over time. It just became something way more, and then we were just like, we just made this fantastic game. We work so well together, so why not like start a company together? We did.
So originally we only got together like once a week, and we would only talk, right? Like I almost didn't make any models. I just made some concept art, and the guys would put together a little bit of a prototype, a very, very quick stuff. And that went on for a couple of months until we said, okay, we didn't even realize it was like growing. And every time we would spend more time on this. And eventually we were just almost working full time for a minute. Of course, like we had jobs and everything, but at nights and during the weekends, we would put as much free time as we could. And so the project really grew. And about your question, what is the idea for my career, especially? Basically, what happens to me was I was working with films and advertisement, and it's a very, very technical job, right? I do like hyper realistic 3D graphics. So there is only so much creativity that you can put into that. And at least in my mind, a car always looks like a car, right? Like if you're too creative, it's wrong, you know? So I wanted to try something that exercised a little bit that creative side of me. And I made this short film, and I worked like 4 years on it. And it went awesome. But then when I went on to try to make another one, I really didn't find the passion for that. But I still wanted to make my own things. And I figured that a video game, it is something that is fun to make. It's much more immediate than an animation that requires rendering and all of these. You kind of do it and it's already in the game, and becomes alive pretty quickly, right?
Yeah.
And it's still a creative project. And also it is a bit more of a product in my mind. If you make a game, it's way easier to make any money with it than with a short film or with an independent film, right? It's so much harder to create. I mean, I don't know if it's harder or not, but I feel like, I don't know, people just buy a $10 game much more usually than spending $10 to see an independent movie that nobody knows, you know? So, I felt like it made more sense for me to try to create if I create a digital product that is a video game than a short film. That's my personal experience, you know? And the passion drove me to try the video games as well. I just couldn't stop myself from trying the video game thing. So here I have. I'm still doing my freelance job for VFX, but if the game explodes, I guess I would just switch completely. But in the meantime, I'm doing both things and I love it. But
yeah, no, that makes sense as far as you know, the game industry is geared for making something and then selling something, where it's like independent film is like, go to a festival type of thing. Go to a festival, and then hopefully maybe a producer picks you up, and then maybe you make a feature out of it or something like that. I feel like it's a much longer process, and it's in a way riskier in a lot of respects. Where games, it's like, I mean, especially in the indie, the momentum of where the industry has been going towards indie anyway, and all the available tools and things like that are available for people to just be able to launch something is just so much more accessible than it used to be. And so it's just, it's and it's fun too, because you get to see people play with your creations.
It's also, I guess also video games are a much more immediately consumable product. Like if you think the optimal way to watch a film, you need to leave your house and go to a cinema, you know, or you have to put the TV and whatever. But ideally you see the film on the cinema, right? And that is so much more expensive to put together and so much harder. And a video game, although people expect much more entertainment for the $10, 20 that they will spend from a video game, you want 8 hours, 10 hours or infinite. Whilst a movie can be an hour and a half, and that's fine. But at the same time, you have much less friction for people to consume a video game, right? You just pay $5, $10 and you play for a minute, you have fun, whatever. Otherwise you return it, you know, if you don't like it. So I feel that it's a bit of an easier product to sell. And of course, if you're spending all your free time on something, it's worth trying something that you feel can help you, sustain you, and give you the opportunity to create more in the future as well, right?
Yeah. I was going to say something. I'm sorry. I was just going to circle back on something you guys said, which was you, as far as iterations and things like that, like as far as people playing in playtests, we just had a playtest. And so like you guys brought up the fact that like sometimes you have people play and they're like, what is this? I have no idea what's going on or how to play this game. And we just kind of got kind of destroyed a little bit on our playtest. And so like, have you guys had that situation happen? Like you've let people try and play and you're kind of like,
Absolutely.
we might need to completely rethink this a little bit or really change.
Absolutely. And, I absolutely love that. In that, I mean, it's like, okay, if we go back to the film analogy, right? You make a film, and you're like almost in the closet, like making a film. It's like you can show a few like glimpses of the film occasionally in trailers and things like that. But games are like so different because there's such engagement with the audience, or there needs to be. So it's like way more user centered than say a film. I love films, but I'm nothing against it. Well, it is way more user centered. And I remember like, oh God, I remember this one point, Pedro, remember that? Like, when we'd done loads of playtesting and we'd changed it so dramatically to cater to like what people are saying. Because a lot of the things people were saying were like really great, man. They were like, yeah, this, we didn't think of that. And that makes a lot of sense. So we changed a lot. And then we were like, okay, we're done. And then I was like, and then my friend Laurie was like, oh, mind if I have a game? I was like, yeah, sure. Gave him the game. The next day, he come back with this humongous list. Like,
oh my God.
And we were like, oh, geez. And it all made sense. And we're like, oh, God. And another like a month.
Yeah. I mean, basically, the strategy was we had like all our friends that would be willing to try it. So we would just send it to maybe one person, and let them play and see what they understood, what they like, what they didn't like. So they would give us the feedback, and you only get that first impressions and people playing it for the first time once, obviously. And then when you explain it, they know. So even if you don't fix it, they will understand what they have to do, right? So then we would show it to another person and see, okay, we fixed what this person said. Let's see if this other person now gets it.
Oh, that's interesting.
They would get something, but not this other thing. So slowly we progressed, showing it to more and more friends. And we probably did like 20 iterations of that until we had our game for the first time, just giving the game to somebody without saying anything. And they would just like beat it,
Wow.
And so it really took us a long time. And we are nowhere near perfect. We are still, there's a lot of things to polish, but that was the general strategy.
I think the key thing here is that we're very, very willing to communicate and like with our user base and our kind of our players and like make adjustments and like and engage in this discourse between us, Like I remember like with Laurie's thing, I think we had to completely just rebuild the tutorial system, didn't we, Pedro? And like just make it like way more complex, because he was just like this tutorial is kind of lame. You need to fix it. And it's like, well, right, we'll do.
Yeah. Oftentimes we just try to do like, okay, what's the minimum we can do? Because actually we wanted to have the demo and start trying for publishers. And so ideally you don't want to be working for free forever if you are going to try the publisher, right? So we wanted to have the demo ready as soon as possible and start that. But then our friends wouldn't understand. So we would have to, okay, let's actually scrap all of these things that we did quickly and let's do it like the best we can, right? Like the tutorial needs to be completely easy to understand. So we would need to redo that. And then another thing that nobody would understand, we would need to redo that then. So it was a very, very iterative process for us.
Yeah, and I think it worked out really well. I thought it was like it's made the game a lot better. I think way done.
Yeah,
which we appreciate. Like all their friends and family like playing the games and telling us what and giving us honest feedback.
Yeah, it's hard sometimes not to be discouraged for that, because some things that people wouldn't understand for us was like, how don't you get it? Like it's one big letter in here saying like, do this. And people are like, what do I need to do? Well, it's not that obvious. You are playing the game and you're looking somewhere else, You need to not take it personally and just constantly be ready to change and what people don't understand. That's super important, I think.
Yeah. So you guys have better friends than we do. Our friends gave us no list. It was like, hey, what do you guys think? Give us some feedback. And they'd be like, yeah, it was good.
Oh,
Okay.
I mean,
And so,
yeah, and people don't want to be mean. Sometimes it's good to play with them at the same time, so they don't need to tell you anything. You can realize like, okay, they are bouncing against this wall for the last 10 minutes. That's probably
uh,
something I need to change.
yeah.
Yeah, my favorite was we had this thing where you have to place like a summon, like it's a character onto a tower. We had to rename it to a baby monster. Basically, it's not called terror anymore; it's called baby monster. But anyway, it was a bit confusing. But just this giant arrow pointing into the thing when you pick it up, it's like pointing. And I was like, oh, I don't know what to do with this. So like, all right, cool. We'll just start spinning the
Like
arrow.
there's the monster and an arrow, and everyone's like, where do I put this?
Stop
And it's
flashing
like,
the arrow. It's I just like,
and it's if nobody gets it, reality is if nobody understands it, it's not that obvious, even if it's an arrow pointing at something,
yeah.
Brutal. You're like, I don't know how much more clear I can make this for you. I mean, like we're gonna have to really rethink. But yeah, no, I mean, and there's also like a balance between like you don't want to. I mean, you don't want to be a hand holder either. Like, because I know there's that balance between like hand holding in a game where people can get turned off on that as well. It's like there's too many pop-ups, too much of a tutorial, too much of a hand holding, and it's like I like to explore a little bit and kind of figure these things out myself. And it's like finding that happy medium of like making sure when people do play the game, they actually feel like they're doing something compared to when they play it and they feel like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I don't even want to play this. Yeah, yesterday, we kind of had like a kind of both sides of that. People were playing that wanted to give it a try, kept playing, and then they actually ended up liking it. And the people that just got frustrated ended up just turning it off to be like, I don't know what the hell this game is. I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah. I think that's very hard, and sometimes it happens that when your friends play it, they're not necessarily like gamers, or not all of them are the same level of gamer, right? So I showed our game, to some people that said like, hey, it's too easy, and other people said I cannot beat the first level, which you cannot die on the first level, and they still like, so it's hard to understand. Okay, maybe who is your public and who will be playing your game actually, right? So you need to maybe work towards those people, non-gamers or like hardcore people. So you have to find that, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think also, I suppose the people who drop it straight away and it's like, I don't know what the hell this is. Maybe the people you should listen to the most. So what was it that confused you? What was, like, and then try and kind of design around that a little bit. But I think there's a difference between like having, you said it yourself, but there's a difference between having a game with soul and the game that's just like, holding your hand like a little baby. It's like, yeah. This is there's a fine balance, and I think
Very,
it's hard to get,
very fine balance for sure. It's a very fine balance because so how has been a lot of the attention on the game as far as what we've put out there? I know obviously I found you on Reddit is where I first saw it, and I thought what I saw was really cool. I was like, dude, this first of all, the models are amazing. I was like, these models are so amazing. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, it's a tower defense. I was like, oh, this looks awesome. And so I was like, obviously I wanted to have you on. So like, how has been, other than me who thought it was cool looking, how has been the response from other people? The public, if you will, I guess.
Honestly, something that we are not doing very well is communicating about the game. We have posted like very little. In general, nobody says it sucks, but lots of people said like the art is very cool. Of course, less people have to actually try the game, so we don't have like as much information on that. But the friends of ours that try the game, most of them have fun. Some of them tried earlier versions, so they understood a bit less, but all of them had fun in general. So I guess we're doing something right, but it still needs a lot of testing and a lot of adjusting. But I think we definitely need to put out more information and more videos. The thing is that making any kind of post in social media is way harder than what it seems, right? Like you
Yeah.
really, it's almost a full-time job if you really want to promote your game properly.
Yeah.
And for us, we were first really rushing to finish the demo, like putting all the time we had on that. And other than that, if we are not sharing the demo, we feel a bit like, are we just losing time promoting something that then people cannot actually test? Like we are promoting a product and then we cannot give it to you in any form, not even the demo. So does it make sense? I guess the answer is probably yes in any case, but we just didn't have the time and we're going to focus a bit more on that.
Yeah, I think it's the case that, you know, we're in this kind of a bit of limbo at the moment, just in terms of, you know, when we release the demo, I'm sure people will enjoy it, and I'm sure that we'll get more press and more, you know. But it's like, should we like put all their energy now, or should we? I mean, like, should we drip it in, or should we? Once we've released the demo, then start piling on the press? I don't know. We're still figuring that out.
On this other project that I was working on, Synth Hunters, I was not programming anything and I was not doing so much work on the actual game. It was more like preparing documents, applying for funding, stuff like that. So I created a lot of posts and stuff like that. So I ended up having like 6,000 followers on Instagram, and there's like 500 people on my Discord and everything. But it's been years, and I'm not ready to share anything. I cannot let them play the demo yet. So I lost like 1,000 people on Instagram already. So it's hard. It's hard to keep it up. It really takes a lot of time. But yeah, it's a hard question to answer, right? If you are not ready to share the demo, if it's worth putting all that time through, yes, if you have the time. But it's hard to balance everything. And so far we've been like kind of hyper focusing on the quality of the demo.
Yeah. So what happened? I'm not sure if you did mention, and I apologize if I don't remember. So what happened to this other project that we were working on before Tokyo Neon Monsters?
No, that's a personal project of mine, which I'm directing, and I'm doing that parallel, and it's still going. It's just very slow and
got it. Okay.
I mean, COVID happened in the middle, and then the industry became like much harder to get money from. So it's a slow process, but we are working on it, and the game is like a lot better than when I started. It's just that it's taking long. It's a very large project, still independent, but very large. So it's not that easy to find the funding for that. And as I'm working with a company, it's not like it's just somebody at home and me just putting it together. If we program anything, we need to pay the person that does that. So it's a bit slower to do that. That's all. But it's happening, and it's parallel to Tokyo Neon Monsters.
Yeah. And circling back to, like you said, like that limbo phase, or the limbo that we're kind of into, because like you said, you guys are still like in the process of potentially looking for publishers and things like that. So you're right, you guys are very much like, do we continue to promote? Because there's a lot that could change with the game if you guys end up getting a publisher. And so it's like, yeah, you guys are kind of like in this really weird situation where it's like, I don't know. So how close are we? Are we working on the pitch deck? Have we had, are we looking towards several publishers? Have we reached out to any? Like, what does that look like right now?
Pedro?
Should I? So basically, we have a demo that plays for about 45 minutes, and it's pretty solid. It's almost like no bugs, as at least we haven't found a bug in a long time now. And we are actively sending these to publishers. So basically, the first stage for us was making sure that we have a solid demo, and all of the marketing and pitch assets. Basically, we have a pitch deck that explains everything. We have videos of gameplay. We have the build. We have literally everything. Well, whenever we open a website to apply for a publisher, we just like very quickly can like fill all of the data, because we are very ready for that. And so we want to test a little bit what we have with some publishers, see what's the response. If the response is not positive, then improve and try again, and go from bigger and more ambitious to smaller, basically. So depending on the answers that we have, we're gonna just keep going and keep pushing. We will finish this game, and this game will be out with more or less help. It doesn't really matter if we get the budget that we want. Then it's awesome, because we don't need to be worrying about only working on our free times, etc. But if we don't, we just continue to push and aim, for example, for an early access or for just releasing the game eventually.
So move into that self-publishing realm at that point, if depending on where things go. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that the two of us can do everything related to game, better or worse. But I can do sound, I can edit videos, Craig can program anything. So we are really ready. We don't need anybody else to finish it. But if we get help, that would be awesome. So yeah, that's the situation.
Yeah, it'd be really useful, mainly because of just you gotta live, right? So
that's the thing.
I think that's funny. The programmer's like, yeah, it would be great if we could get some help. The artist is like, yeah, we're good. We'll just do it all. The programmer's like, yeah, I might need a hand or two.
I can definitely. I mean, like, I'm definitely capable of doing the game, right? It's like 100%.
Yeah.
It's just like it would be nice if, like, it'd be nice if we could do this full time and get it done within, say, a year or something like that. But if we get funding, so it's probably a year. If we don't, then I don't know what that's going to look like. With a sense.
Yeah, we have designed everything to be a bit of a modular, scalable project, right? So we have, for example, different playable characters. If we have funding, we can have more. If we don't, we can have less, and then release them over time. So the overall features of the game, we have them, and we just need the funding to make more of the same, just so it's not like 3 levels and one guy. Like, you have stuff to unlock and different mechanics and
also things like endless mode and local co-op and things like that. Just like there's more to put in, and there's meta progression and stuff like that, right? But like, obviously, there's more to put in, both pragmatically and also like assets. So
the reality is that if the game didn't have multiplayer, it's not that it wouldn't be fun to play, but if we had it, it would be all the better, right? So that's the difference right now for us on the fun, right? Just for quality of life for us and for the size and the things that we can offer for the game.
Also, a lot of these publishers, they offer way more than funding, right? But there's promoting your game, and also there's QA. I mean, like, there's a lot of publishers that are developers as well, so they'll go back and forward with you, and they'll help you produce a really great game.
And sometimes they have deals with different consoles. So, for example, they could help you and show up for a week in the main page of software. Like sometimes they have these deals with the brands, right? Like, I don't know, Nintendo, and then your game is exclusive for them, and you have all of these benefits for that. So they do have the contacts, right? Like, we are a very micro team, so we don't have all that.
Funding is important, but it's one of a bunch of different important things,
right?
That can help us make the best game possible for the people who buy it. That's all that counts in the end, right? Is we make a brilliant game that people enjoy playing.
Yeah,
of course. Yeah, I mean, it takes an army for sure to make a game, because I think I've said that to a couple of people, or I've talked about this, but it's just like, you look at all the different roles compared to like just making like a piece of art, or that you can just do that one tactile type of thing and then basically put it out there and just get the feedback, or go from there. But it's just like you just made a painting, where like with games, it's like, okay, you made a painting, now animate the painting. Okay, now let people control the painting. Okay, now let people go into a different level of the painting. You know what I mean? And now you need the business side of it. Now you need to sell the game. Now sell the painting. And so it's like, and then market the painting and all these different, so it's like, it encompasses so many different things with games that it's like, it's a lot of moving parts, and it's like, it can be overwhelming. I know, especially with our team, there's 5 core members. We've ad hoc'd a couple people, with things that we were missing, but there's 5 core people that are working on our stuff. And it's like, just divvying out the responsibilities is, even just with five people, which is a good amount, but it's like, it's still overwhelming with the amount of work that still needs to be done. And so, it's a lot. It's a lot for sure. And getting a publisher for sure can help fill those voids or those things that you're missing, and also help with funding, depending on the split that you guys take on it. Yeah, it's also hard to decide which direction to go to sometimes.
Yeah. And sometimes publisher will have experience publishing games before, so they will know what languages to translate your game with, and what's for depending on that. There's a lot of things they know.
The pitfalls.
So you can be spending a lot of your time doing something that they know is not worth doing at all. So you sometimes save money by, well, of course, because they'll pay for stuff. But
like, I know that, like, me and Pedro have been making the demo for how long now, Pedro?
Good couple of months, like 6-7 months.
Somewhere.
Not full time, of course. But
this is not full time, but like part time, basically, or it is, bare time essentially. But like, we both, obviously capable of building the game fully, but like, there's so much more to games than just making games. And weird. And they're relying on and like, learning those expertise is a lifelong challenge. I respect those expertise, and I hope that I find somebody who's willing to have those expertise.
And when I was working on my short film, that I spent all these 4 years doing, the things that I like the least about my film are the things that I've done that I wasn't good at necessarily, but I did it because it was just me doing it, right? So if I had an animator, for example, I can animate stuff. I do it all the time, but I'm not a character animator necessarily. So especially back in 2019 when I was doing the short film, basically, if I had somebody animating, the film would look twice as good, right? And that's why I was looking out for a programmer, and luckily I found Craig, because he's not only great at that, he likes doing it. I don't like programming. So then the game will be like way better if he's involved.
I do like doing it.
God bless you.
Sometimes I hate doing it. So I love-hate relationship. But also there's all the Unity stuff as well. Like, we use Unity, but I don't know. We use Unity currently, but and all the Unity stuff, putting all the engine together essentially. Not just programming and art. It's putting it all together in this one coherent thing. You obviously know all this.
I was just about to ask what software are we using, or what engine? I'm sorry, what engine we were using. So we're using Unity for this.
Yes.
Yeah,
we are.
Is that what? Do you know any other engines, or was this just like the easiest go-to?
I know all of them. I know Unreal. I know yOKzONa, and I also know Unity. Well, all of the main ones anyway. I think, although I don't know if there's probably more main ones. No, but
only those 3 options.
I know for that basically.
I guess you can include Source, but I mean, does that even count anymore?
I don't know, maybe. I'm sure it counts for somebody, and if you can make that work for you, all the powers.
Probably Unity was the
game made recent. I feel like there was a game made recently that used Source, like a new game that used the Source engine. I was like, what the hell? People still use Source? What the heck? Even Valve doesn't even use their engine anymore.
I guess in the end, what matters is what you're comfortable with, right? And otherwise, you're kind of waiting for the right software and the right team. And it's better to just work with what you have, and you can change the next.
I feel like there's 1,000 reasons not to make a game in terms of like, which engine should I use or blah, blah, blah.
Oh yeah.
But really, if you just start doing it, it's the best approach. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work out,
I started doing this thing with my daughter. I don't have it next to me anymore. But we started doing that that like visual coding stuff for kids. I don't remember what it's called off the top of my head. But I started doing that with her, just to kind of get her she sees that I'm working on a game, and then she got super interested. I was like, oh, well, let's try doing this. It was funny because as we were like working on it, I was kind of like looking at it going like, shit, maybe I should start working on this thing too. It's like clearly made for kids, but I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I should kind of work on like,
Yeah,
but yeah, I just
luckily
man.
I have to like keep up to date with everything because of my job, you know. So
Yeah.
we predominantly teach Unity at my university,
Mhm.
but we also teach Unreal as well. And Godot,
Yeah.
I love Godot. I think it's beautiful, beautiful engines, like little tiny little thing. Well, I like the fact that it's open source and just really
Mhm.
great. And obviously Unity's been doing some dodgy stuff recently.
I
Sounds
I wish I had more options when I was a kid for game design, or at least going into college and stuff like that. The only option we had going into college was like an intro to game design, and literally
Mhm.
this was the class. They're like, you got in a class, and it was I guess a guy, somebody from the industry, I don't remember, but he basically let us open up 3ds Max, and he gave us a book and said, okay, just follow the book. And we're like, this is the class. Like that was the class. Just open 3ds Max
Uh,
and make sure it's under this many polygons. And we're like, this is terrible. Like I bombed. I failed the class because I was like, this is not how you learn anything. I was like,
that's just awful.
especially something so visual. But it's just because I mean, it was such a new thing that colleges were just like, oh, people want this course, so let's charge them to learn how to do this thing. Everything that
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
learned now has basically been self-taught at this point because there just wasn't, as I grew up, there just wasn't any type of really learning in the space because it was so new.
I was in the same position, I mean, when I went to college and then afterwards university, I went to college to we say college like just after high school basically, and then you go
Yeah,
to university. But
it's
anyway,
like pre-university.
yeah, it's pretty university. Yeah. So I went to college to do like now I did IT and I got so bored of that. I was just like, oh,
Yeah.
can't do this. This is so boring. All the time I had this like I wanted to be a game developer in the back of my mind. Yeah.
Mhm.
And IT just didn't do anything for me. So I was just like, you know what, we'll do something radically different and just moved over to like music. And then, and then I joined a band and I was like, actually, college isn't for me. I just left. But then, and then afterwards, like I came back and did some, I did like art. 'Cause I thought, you know what, I'm going to try and get into art, into like games. So, and that took me on a whole like roundabout mission to do loads of cool
Mm.
stuff, just mainly in film and stuff. And eventually, I'll just by the time I did my masters, I met a guy who's a really good friend of mine. Actually, I spoke about him earlier. His name's Lauren. I met him, and we made this basically Perpetual Night, which
Oh,
is a game that we made. Well, it's a vertical slice essentially.
mm.
Where we took to like loads of conventions and stuff, and that was my first kind of actual foray into like game development. And then after that, I did my PhD, but I did that in like I did that in a weird thing. It's like performance technologies for like, but it was using Unity essentially. So performance technologies are like like dance and like improv performance and stuff, and technologies
Mm.
associated with that. I did some cool stuff in that space, but I was using Unity through that, and that's why I was got the kind of like this background of like art and technology at the same time that somehow got me a job as a uni lecturer.
Oh, wow.
And a developer. Well, yeah, and I think the crux of the story is, I always had this idea of like game development in my mind, and that this is what I wanted to do, but I never had a direct route in there because it didn't
Mm.
really exist at the time. Like for
Yeah.
me, I couldn't. There was no direct route in there. Well, there probably was, but I couldn't find it myself.
Well,
So
everything
yeah,
was so new too, because I'm assuming we're probably relatively close in age. So it's like,
I'd say
YouTube
we're
was
pretty.
still relatively new. Like
Yeah, definitely.
all this stuff was so kind of new, like as far as like the decentralization of information, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
so yeah, it was, I mean, it was hard to figure out it, like the only course, I mean, especially like when I was growing up, the only course was just like, just go to college. Like that's, if you want to do anything, just go to college. You're like, well, is that the only way in?
I remember I went to like when I was a kid, I like really wanted to get into it. I had this like really crappy PC, And I went to the library and just got a book on, and it was just a book that was the code for Doom. And it was like this thick. It was like this thick. And I'd looking through it and just be like, holy shit, I've never been a programmer. I'll never be able to understand any of this. And I took it back to the library. I was like, I'm doing all.
I did something similar too. I went to the library. I got an OpenGL book. I remember, and at the time I didn't even know what the hell OpenGL. I just remember OpenGL was like, it was something used within games because it always opened up whenever I would open Counter-Strike. And it's like, oh, change your OpenGL code, or I don't remember what it was. There was like the different versions of it, but I just remember always seeing it. And I remember I was walking through Barnes and Noble or whatever bookstore, and I remember seeing an OpenGL book, and I was like, learn how to do OpenGL. And I was like, oh, well, that's clearly how you make video games. So yeah, I'll buy it.
Oh yeah. How did that work out?
Yeah, it didn't work at all. I had no idea what I was doing. No clue. I still don't even, to this day, I'm kind of still like, what the hell was OpenGL actually? I'm sure I can find out now. I'll just ask ChatGPT at this point.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's funny, man.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's something that I was mentioning before. Like, you will never have like the right knowledge or the right technology or the right software, whatever, to make just to begin, right? Like, or the right team. It's better to begin and learn as much as you can doing your first stuff and until you develop into something bigger than just waiting, because that's a great way to procrastinate, saying like, well, I would start the game, but the idea is not perfect yet, or the idea is not great, or I don't know how to program or whatever, right? And the best you can do is adapt to make a game that you like with the things that you have, even if it's the most basic kind of game. It would be better than just never starting. I guess often I see people that get demotivated because they want to start this huge project, and that's not wrong. I think there are not bad ideas, but ideas that you haven't developed enough. So you need to turn that idea and lower it down into something that you can actually produce. And hopefully one day you can make that first idea that you have. But you will find that you will end up loving the game that you are making if you give the idea an opportunity. I really believe in iterative progress, right? I don't think any good ideas are the first idea that anybody has. You need to sit down and rework it and just push through it. For example, for me, I was born in South America. I didn't speak English when I was younger. So all the information available, especially back in the days, there was not that much information at all online. There was no YouTube, right? And without knowing much English, there's even less stuff to read through. So, and I remember when I was working on advertisement back in South America, we checked online, like, okay, how do you do it to work in the big tools, right? So we would enter, I don't know, Double Negative's website and check for the job offering, and they would say, okay, master's degree in mathematics, master's degree in game in field, and you also needed to know all of these softwares and programming and everything. And the dream felt so big that we never really consider if we could apply for anything like that. It's funny that we didn't even dream of it. It's not like we dream of it and we said, but that would never happen. We didn't even consider the idea that one day we could work on any fields like the ones you see in Marvel and stuff like that. And one day I started applying, although I didn't have like half of the requirements, and I got hired, and I was living in Brazil at the time. And they paid me a flight ticket to go work on Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, which is at the time was one of the biggest films, right? So, everybody was better than me when I arrived in London to work in films. But not everyone in the team needs to be the best. You need somebody that is not yet there to do stuff that you cannot put the best guy. You have to do something repetitive, right? So there is a need always, and you don't need to wait to be a perfect 10 out of 10 to begin trying and applying and making your game. Yeah, it's definitely possible, even if you are not there yet.
I love that.
I mean, beautiful. I like For me, right, I have this a lot actually with my students, and often they come to me and say, they're like, this is such a hard thing to do, especially now getting into the industry and stuff. And sometimes I have students come to me and say, "Look, Craig, I've got such limited knowledge, but like, I've got really it's quite specialized, but like, it seems that everyone's broad, or even the opposite. I'm quite broad, and the things I'm trying to do are like specialized. And I always say to them, I'm like, listen, mate, it's not what it's your faith in your ability to know that you can do those things when you need to do them, right? It's like I have the bit. I have a general knowledge of like programming and all these kind of things, and I know for a fact. I know for a fact that if anything anybody throws at me, I will definitely eventually be able to do. Don't know how long it might take, but I will do it. And you kind of got to have that strength, and you got to like move forward. And I say that to everybody, like and anybody that's wants to listen, like
There is also something that on a production side of things. If you think of large productions, like when I was in London, I was working on like very big productions, right? The reality is, the company has a lot of super professional people in London that everybody that is the best goes there. So they have a lot of offer. But suddenly the client says like, hey, we had an issue with this other vendor and all of these shots, 500 new shots, we want you to do, Suddenly the company needs 500 people. So if you send your email, then you are hired, So it's not, the industry constantly changes right now. It kind of sucks anyway. And if you don't send that email, somebody else will get hired, like you need to try to be at the right spot at the right time. You need to be in a lot of spots and a lot of times, like you need to put yourself out there and try. Otherwise, like it will never fall in your lap. Like you need to be there insisting. I think they even hired me to stop me from sending emails, like, okay, do it. Come on and work with us.
Just hire them. Please keep sending emails.
That's what happened with me, actually. Like, Pedro kept sending me emails. I was like, oh, God, it's all right. Oh, you come on. Go back again together. All right. Pedro, Jesus.
You didn't say. Yeah.
That's funny. That's funny. Well, it reminds me of, do you guys know, like, Babe Ruth, like the baseball player, the American baseball player?
I heard of Babe Ruth.
One of the most prolific home run. Yeah, one of the most prolific home runners or whatever, back in the day. And but he also had one of the highest strikeout records as well. And it reminds me of that as well. It's like you're not gonna be what you think you could be unless you swing. You just gotta swing. And it's like eventually you'll hit it, and sometimes you'll hit it out of the park. But you gotta swing, and you're gonna strike out a lot.
Yeah,
absolutely,
exactly right.
Yeah. I think this is something that I'm always like conflicted about. Like my personality is like, iterative work is the way to go. If you don't spend 100 years on a project, you didn't work enough on your project, At the same time, it is true that you try 100 things, you are more likely to find the golden idea than if you are just hammering at one idea. So I guess it has to be somewhere in between. It's not easy to understand, like, should I work more on this or should I try something else? I guess that's the big issue, right? Like you never know like what you should be doing. But I don't have the answer for that one, unfortunately.
Oh, I wish I had an answer for that one too. That's been like the biggest issue that's ever plagued me, which is just like, should I continue this? Should I stop this? Should I whatever this? And I've said this before, but it's like the scroll or tome of failures that I could show people compared to the notepad of like successes I've had in my life is probably it's unreal. So it's like, you just don't know. You just got to keep pushing forward on whatever you think, and then hopefully something lands. And just talking about myself for a little bit, as far as like my journey, as far as I also started in IT. Actually, I'm a trained technician, IT professional. And it was just like, I was in the business world and IT, and I was like, dude, I hate this. I can't do this anymore. This is just like, I'm so much more creative in general. Like in high school and all this stuff, I was Pedro, you might know, but like there's a program before 3ds Max and Maya were really like huge. There was a really crappy program called True Space, which was a 3D modeling program, and it was so janky and terrible, but it was the first one I ever tried. I was just like,
Okay.
well, I'm gonna try this thing out. And the only way to really model it didn't use like, polygons per se. It used some weird system. But anyway, me and
Like
my buddy
vertices.
made this like we made this 3D like video and stuff like that, and we put it into a
Cool.
film festival. But it's only like 17 or something like that. But it was like that's when that was like my first like spark. I was like, dude, this is what I want to do. I want to do this stuff. But then like life, like you have to take care of yourself and you can't make any money doing that. And that's pretty much all I ever heard. So I was like, well, I guess I'll just fix people's computers, and I guess that's what I'll end up doing. But then I made a huge pivot because I was just like, dude, I need to, first of all, I have so many ideas. I was like, I'm going to set out to finish one of my projects slash ideas or whatever. And when I finally finished it, I was like, this is it. This is what I'm doing from here on out. I'm not doing that crap anymore. I'm just working on my projects. And it's kind of landed me where I am now. Now I'm obviously we're vigorously crossing our fingers and putting our nose to the grindstone to make sure that this thing comes out right. But I think a lot of things too is like people try to compare themselves to where they are and not to where they've come from and all the things that they've learned. And they sit there and look at all the people that have, basically got like 5-10 more years ahead of them. And they're like, why am I not that good? Well, you haven't gone through the shit that you need to go through to get to that point. So just sit down, buckle down, and keep working at it, and you'll get there eventually. And it's so hard to do that sometimes.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I
that was a huge
guess
digression.
no. To close the idea that I was saying before, because I couldn't close it at the time, not that you said, because I see it, is that finishing stuff is probably one of the most powerful things and one of the most powerful habits that you can have. And if you're doing a game and you don't like what you're doing, and you can still working on it, whatever, but before abandoning it, you finish it somehow and you put it out there, that will give you so much more than as you don't, right? Like I think one of the skills that I have is being very driven. Like since 2019 until now, I haven't spent a week without working on a personal project, I think. And I think that's my biggest skill, more than what I've learned on the film industry and everything. Like just keep going, is the biggest thing that I have. And
this is where we synergize is the most, mate. Because I'm exactly the same as that.
Yeah, like a marathon, just keep running. It feels like forever, but yeah.
I think as I don't know, I can't remember a time when I haven't been working on some kind of project that's like personally creative and personally like enjoyable. I can't, whether it's doing a painting or like doing some film or something, or like doing like making a game or whatever, or making some music or something. I can't remember a time when I wasn't doing that. And
I always use this analogy that is, when you're like screwing the lid of something and the lid starts like tightening and you keep screwing and then it like becomes loose again, like you went the whole loop and it becomes loose. So when you are working on something or learning something, you begin and the lid is very loose, right? But then when you arrive to a moment that is very hard because you either need to learn a new software or a new skill, or you don't find the results that you wanted, that is when the cap begins to tighten, right? And that's when it's hard. But if you push, and if you keep pushing, then it just snaps and it's loose again. And you find your connector again and you keep working. So whenever you are at the moment that you want to stop working on your project, or you think your idea sucks, or you think you shouldn't keep going for whatever reason, that moment is when you're about to make a major breakthrough or learn something very important. So that is something that I just to keep reminding myself. Like when you say like I should quit, your brain saying like, hey dude, this is too hard. It's not worth it. Like it's all a fantasy, right? Like if you keep pushing, you will definitely find that boom, it's easy again and you're having fun again and you're enjoying it again. And then it will come all at the time again where it's like, you hate it, you want to stop. That's when you need to keep pushing a little bit more,
That's a really good analogy. And so before I had kids, I used to work out a lot. And now I have 2 kids and now not so much. But I promise there's a point to this, but I think about the connection with like working out. It's like, you know, when you're struggling and when it's the hardest, when you're trying to lift something or do something difficult, especially with your body, it's like that's when you have the growth. That's where the growth happens. Not when you're doing the easy part where it's easy to tighten the lid. There's no growth there. But it's when you're trying to torque that thing down, that's when all the growth happens. And then you can finally break through and get to that point. Think about like maxing out, like, you know, you try and lift as much as you possibly can. And then after a few more times, you realize, oh my God, now I'm just repping this out. It's like this becomes the easy part. And so I love that analogy. I think you're spot on with that for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. Man. Let's see. I mean, unless there's anything you guys want to talk about, I think we've gone all over the place today, huh?
Yeah, we haven't talked much about our game in particular. I think we could just touch a little bit on what we are doing, what's Tokyo Neon Monsters.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry. That's, you know, when I started this show, I treat it very much like if the three of us were hanging out at a coffee shop, just hanging out and talking shop and stuff like that. And sometimes I forget about what to bring up, but I like the conversation to be a little bit more organic, like because if we're just hanging out and talking. And I mean, for people,
all we talk probably has way more value than hearing about the game.
Yeah, well, and I think about like if I was like a fly on a wall on some of the early development of some people's ideas and like just kind of seeing who they were, I would have loved to just hear a candid conversation about people coming up with their original concepts or just what makes them, be a fly on a wall. And so that was kind of the idea of why, or kind of the format of like, that's why I don't structure it very strongly. I just kind of keep it a little bit loose and we just kind of have a candid conversation. But you're right. We probably should talk about your game.
Yeah, I would definitely keep it in the same format though. I wouldn't like talk about how much health a character has. I would just talk about it in the same format that we've been talking about everything else.
For sure. So yeah, go ahead and give me some concepts. Let's talk about Tokyo Neo Monsters. Like, what was the original concepts like? Like, where did we get the idea? Like, just lay it on me.
Right. So originally we tried a bunch of things. The first, probably from the 7 months that we've been working on this, the first 4 months was just weekly meetings of us thinking about ideas, what sounds fun, what doesn't work. We even tried like the tabletop simulator to put stuff together. It's a game on Steam where you can just create like a board game and kind of play it. So kind of role play the game, you know. So we started this project without an idea, or at least an idea that is nothing like what we have at this moment, right? Mm-hmm. So we started trying with different things. I don't even remember very well.
I remember that. The idea was it's like essentially giant neon signs that trying to get customers to come to their shop so they can eat them. So, and it's like this sort of like weird, I don't know, I suppose critique of consumerism or something. This is like quite interesting. And that's
it's true. So Tokyo Neon Monsters was the name of the game since the first meeting, right? It was almost like a prompt before AI was a thing. That was a prompt. Tokyo Neon Monsters. That's all we had, right? And I started making characters and following what I can even send you some materials. I don't know if you overlay images doing the talk, but in any case, I started making some early concepts, just like stuff to get our imaginations going, you know? Mm-hmm. And so we started making characters. The neon sign idea didn't really work. And then we started, what if the monsters are actually like toxic waste monsters? So then we started thinking about this idea of these giant monsters that are destroying the city. So like a bit of a Godzilla, but silly kind of monsters. And like everything in the game is pretty simplified, right? Like the monsters want the glow-tox, which is this toxic waste produced in factories, and the humans wants to stop you from getting it, right? Like there is a deeper narrative, but just not to get too specific with it. And so then we started trying different ways where you play this game. Originally, we even thought about like a turn-based game where you would just like move, imagine it in a grid, and you would move around and get closer to the factories, get the materials, and with that improve your monsters, like a turn-based fighting game, maybe PvP or something like that. But then we were, what if all of that happened at the same time, right? So it's like this kind of turn-based, but everything happening at the same time, right? Like both players would be moving everything all the time. So imagine if chess didn't have turns, right? Like you're just moving pieces and eating and everything. So trying that, the grid base and everything, I don't know what happened there, but we started getting carried over and carried on, I think. I don't know.
I think we got to a point where we were like, where we had like, there were multiple monsters and you can switch between them. And every time you switched, one of the monsters turned into like a tower, and they just automated, like, so you can kind of place them anywhere and then move to the next monster and then move them around and fight with them and stuff, and then place them and they act as towers. But it just wasn't like connecting. It
just
like,
sounds like an awesome idea if you think about it. It's like a tower defense, but no towers are fixed. You move them and then you get the next tower and you move it. Yeah. The issue we had was like, you were always running towards the action and then leaving to somewhere where there's no action to move your next tower, you know? So that was boring, basically, right? So we tried and it wouldn't work. And then we basically started over almost and said, okay, you are a monster, you steal the glowtox, which is the resource, and you purchase these eggs and you place the towers. Then the idea came that it's a little bit like Overcooked, but it's a tower defense. So you are running around, getting resources, fighting the humans. So you are spitting fire on the humans, and then you buy the resources and you place the eggs. So when you place the egg, that's like a tower. A little baby monster comes and starts attacking the human. But then the baby monsters become hungry, so they start crying. So you need to go to them and feed them a bottle so they reload, basically, right?
Yeah.
So when you have a lot of monsters, you end up like running everywhere to just like feed the monsters and put new monsters here. And so it's like a very hectic game where you're constantly just upgrading your towers and buying new towers and strategizing which tower to put where. So it's a very hands-on tower defense, which with real-time action. And then we had the idea of the roguelite upgrade, the roguelite upgrade.
Yeah, the roguelite upgrades. Yeah, like these little summoning creatures that would like sit next to the tower, and they're shooting with the tower. We also had this idea of like, so you've got these eggs and you need something to crack them on. So the buildings become like this thing you can crack the eggs on, and it destroys all the buildings or destroys it in a radius. That means that you like buildings are now sort of like a resource that you have to manage. And like we found this thing. Actually, it's quite interesting because like we found that players were doing this thing called edging, which is like sort of like really kind of really accurately placing an egg. We call it edging, but like accurately placing an egg. So like it doesn't destroy all the buildings. It needs one or two, and then they can use another egg on those buildings, which is kind of something we didn't predict.
Yeah, we slowly discover like little skill things that you can do on the game. Instead of like just placing it everywhere, placing it anywhere and destroying a lot of buildings, you place it in a very specific place and destroy as little buildings as you can. There's like a distraction zone. So,
so we try not to feed into the like player feedback and try and like make it way that own. And it worked. It's a good game.
And so something that we did that I think is very cool is that we wanted this roguelike upgrades that we were talking about. And of course, like you have games like Vampire Survivors that right now are like super popular. What we didn't want was to click on a box and then your monster speaks quickly. You know, what we wanted is that everything is a character. So the upgrades are basically another little monster, like a smaller monster that flows in the air, and you put it, like you connect it to your tower. So then your tower has these little monsters firing on top of it. So it becomes a bit more charismatic. We really try to work a lot on the identity of the game, and we try to make it very memorable. So that's why we really work on making the characters. Actually, I have my office is filled with characters. I can show you some.
I see you're building some, and you have some back there. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and we have them. So I have I have the 3D printer back there printing right now, and we put together like this little.
That's cool.
It's basically the models of the game, and they come in a little bag that are you can fit them
That guy's
together
cool.
like a Lego
That guy's
thing. It
cool.
doesn't as good as a Lego, but with some strength, it just feels like you can see like if I pull the leg out, you can see like it has like a little fitting way that you just put it in there, and it just
That's
you know.
cool.
So we really explore different ways to really think about. I don't know. We love the idea of making toys for the game, but what does that look like?
Yeah,
You
I
know?
love that.
Can we 3D print them? Can we, if we 3D print them, how long it takes, how expensive it is? You know, like we really try to explore these things, because then it gives us ideas for the game. You know, like we would love that we have hundreds of characters for people to collect. And these little upgrades, we don't want to have 10 or 20. We want to have like 100 of them.
Yeah. We want loads of synergies, loads of like, so you can like connect maybe 2 different ones that turn into a super one or something. Like
then you have a tower defense with action, with strategy, that becomes a bit of a monster collector, because you keep collecting these different upgrades. And then there is the strategy of like, if you play in normal difficulty, it's all good. But if you play on the maximum difficulty, you really need to think how to place the monsters so you don't destroy all the buildings. So it becomes like a game that you actually need quite a lot of skill to win, you know? So we really wanted to have that then in the project.
I remember when we first made the difficulty system, it was like, you know, we had this neon monstrous difficulty, which was like the hardest difficulty. And like Pedro was just, I think you played it like 8 times, the last level, like 8 or 9 times, and you died every time until you got to the like just about when it was like, yeah, it's ready. Yes, we've tuned it enough. We're cool. Like,
I win all the time, by the way. Now, okay.
Pedro, oh my god,
I got it now. To the point that we even think of making a harder difficulty, but I don't know if there's.
I think we need harder until Pedro gets like. Can't beat it.
And we really try to keep in mind, and not only like having fun doing the project and everything, but then thinking, okay, is this a game that somebody would like to stream? Is this a game that if somebody wants to play and learn everything about it, is there enough depth on the game to do that? But if you don't want to do that, do we have enough casual, easy content for people to just play for, I don't know, a campaign mode? So we are really trying to create something that we're trying to min-max it, basically, right? Like having a lot of depth, but that doesn't mean programming different things, the same elements at different values, right?
I think we're also trying to like not to make it alienating, because I know sometimes, you know, you've got these games that like so depth, like there's so much depth that you're like, oh my god, how am I even, like, this is like an enigma. Absolutely. But like for us, like we want it to have the strategic depth, but we also want it to be accessible. That's a hard thing to do. And
it's not easy. Like we ended up trying to go for a mid-term. For example, I don't know, in a lot of games you have so many upgrades that, I don't know, you end up clicking anything, you know, because you don't want to just be reading numbers all the time, you know? And so we ended up doing it so the summons, the upgrades that you can choose for your monster, only in the very hard difficulties will mean that you win or lose, right? Like in Vampire Survivors, the weapon you choose, it's not like one weapon sucks and the other is great. You can win with all of them, but only in the harder difficulty. If you go deeper and deeper, it really matters. Otherwise, like all of the upgrades will take you there. So you can choose the character that you like better. Like we have this banana that is a gun. Everybody chooses that one all the time, you know? And it's not the best one. But
Banana's a classic.
It's a bit by flavor,
We also got like a Chompwich, which is like a hamburger that just like it's got like two flamethrowers.
So we want that if people choose whatever and they don't want to read anything, and we want the game to work. But if you want to play on the harder mode, you really need to try them and understand how they work and all the summons and everything. So we're trying to build it for so everyone can have in a different way.
I think the philosophy is like funny fun, you know. It's like some of the characters are fun, like funny, and I think the game's just quite is really fun. Yeah.
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 I totally get that. I mean, we call it fun for fun's sake. We do
Oh,
a fun
that's
for fun's
nice.
sake
Yeah.
type of
It's
mentality. Like,
important.
yeah, is this fun just for fun? Like especially with a lot of our character design and just lore and things like that are just we have a very similar vibe. Like it's silly. Like what we're doing, like the
Mm.
characters are silly, the things are kind of silly. And is it fun? Like that's kind of our thing too. So it's like I get that whole the fun aspect, and it should be fun. I mean, that what if it's not fun, why are you
Why are you playing it?
what's the
Why are
point
you
of
making
it?
it? Why are you playing it?
Yeah. And it should be
Exactly.
fun for you as well. Something that happened was that every time we shared the game to people to test it, the feedback was very often too hard, it's too hard, you know? So we ended up making it easier and easier with the tutorials, and it ended up coming to a point that we said, because we play all the time, because we're working on it, that for us was like extremely easy. It was not like normal difficulty. It was like baby
Yeah.
level.
Mm.
And Craig was like, dude, I hate putting a tower and winning, you know, like and then we said like, okay, let's make the difficulty levels. And then we created like the hard mode and then the insane mode. And
Yeah.
when I try the game, I go insane mode because I have honest fun playing on that difficulty, you know?
Mhm.
And I think if you lose that, you will struggle a lot to have fun making your game, right? It's such a huge task that if you're not enjoying it, it will be very hard to just go through it.
Exactly. Yeah. Mm.
Man, it sounds awesome. I mean, I'd like to try. I like tower defense games too. So it's like, actually, that was kind of curious. Obviously, we're kind of in limbo phase, but it's like I see like a potential mobile play that would be pretty
Mm.
good for this type of game mode, because obviously tower defense I feel like is very much in line on a mobile. Is that something you guys have thought about or concepted at least?
Definitely, but I mean, like, I think the difference is that our tower defense is more like, you know, you need a good controller basically, and like it's not just tap. You know, like a tap down. Like
Right.
mobile tower defense is like you tap on something and a tower appears and then like it starts
Right.
shooting. That's great. With our game, you know, you're literally moving the character around, picking up this egg, and you put it onto a building, and it's creating a tower or like
Can be very specific. And with that said, people play Call of Duty on the phone and they get very insane.
yeah.
I think as it stands, our game would need a version for mobile. We couldn't just like somehow export it. I think like
Right.
the enemies are too tiny and some actions are very precise for mobile.
Yeah,
But I personally think this game would kill on mobile if we make the right version. I think it would work
agree,
very
yeah,
well.
I agree.
Also,
And I think it what did I say? I think what we need to do is it needs to be, you know, we can't just port it and it's just crap and that people are
Right.
like,
absolutely.
because it's got to be good for the players, because
Right.
that's like literally a be all and end all. Is this going to be good for the players? Are they going to enjoy it? You know, and if that answers anywhere, anything other than yes, absolutely, we're not going to do it. You know, but if we can make it work on mobile, and we think that it's going to be good for the players, then absolutely we will do it. I'm sure.
Mhm.
It wouldn't be a big, I think it wouldn't be a big compromise. And something that we really wanted was that the game is not complex because, I mean, we always try to make the ideas as simple as possible, right? Like you pick up something and you drop it in these specific areas, right? And
Mhm.
it can be like polished on the way of the controllers work, but we don't want anything that is more complex like that than that. You get the egg, you put it, now it's a tower that attacks automatically. That's the concept, right? So if you think about it, you can easily apply, like if you move the eggs with your fingers, that would make it easier, but then your monster would need to do something else. So you are moving your monster all the time. So you would need some work, but I think the reality is the biggest market for tower defense is in mobile. So we definitely need to come up with that, but we are developing for PC first because that's what we use the most. And from there, we want to have a proof of concept that then we can. I think something that is interesting about the way that we view the production of a video game is that we are not making Tokyo Neon Monsters. We are making an intellectual property that then can become spin-offs or toys, as I was showing you, or an animated series or whatever, right? So it is a video game to begin with, but it can be a different version with more characters, with different characters in another universe, whatever you want, but within a universe. We're trying to create a universe for the project and not the singular game. And, the story is not like about this one character, right? It's about the whole universe.
Yeah. Like an Angry Birds type of situation. Like Angry Birds, I mean, it's the mobile game that most people know, but now it's become, they got plushies, they got the movie. They got all the different things that have happened with that success for sure. And so, yeah, I guess positioning it as a more platform or more of a, you're right, an IP at that point, is a good call for sure.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh man, well, this has been fun, guys. I've enjoyed this. This has been awesome. A good conversation. I've enjoyed having you guys on here for sure, and
we've enjoyed it. So
yeah, so what we'll do, let's have a little bit of an outro and give everyone all the information that they would want to know as far as where to find you, where to find the game, all your socials, everything that anyone would want to know about you guys. Let's just go ahead and have at it, and we'll go from there.
Sure.
And biggest one, if you look on Google, Tokyo's Neon Monsters, I think we show up first. So Wishlist the game on Steam, that would help us a lot.
Yeah.
And
you can
you
go to globetalksgames.com, and that will take you to our website, and that'll give you a link to also the Steam and most of our socials. Also, if you want to learn a little bit more about us, maybe we've got some stuff on there for our team, and we've got some images of the game, some gifts and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, and if you go tokyosneonmonsters.com, you also go to our website, which is where you find everything, and you have our names in there if you want to see our other work and stuff like that. Everything is in there. I think that's the one link that has everything we are working on right now.
I actually was I just pulled it up, and I just saw, who's Rob?
Right. So we have a third member, the secret member. Our secret web member. He basically helps us with all the legal stuff and about business. He helps us, the company that we created for this project. He helped us make that and everything. So he doesn't speak much about the development of the game because it's not like his thing. He's also like a very busy person, and he helps us like on his free time as well. So he's like, our secret member of the team.
He's a great dude.
Awesome. Yeah, we love it. Yeah, I mean, without him, it would have been so much harder. People I like to think about myself as a creative kind of person. When I have to do stuff like creating a company, wow, that's something that I struggle so much with. It's almost ridiculous, like how hard it is. Not understanding what to do, but to begin doing it in the first place is almost impossible. So that's why
right.
That's incredible with that.
Nice. Well, awesome, guys. This has been awesome, and thank you again for being here and entertaining this wild concept of a show.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, I appreciate it for sure.
Thanks for having us on.
Join our Discord as well if you want to talk with us or see more about the game, the news, whatever. We are always there replying to people.
Perfect.
Cool.